I hope you can hear my voice. So, I'm sharing the screen. This is the first topic that we're going to discuss is tell me about yourself. So, we will reiterate this again because you need to practice this every day for minimum 10 minutes. Okay. Based upon your information, this is how you need to narrate your story in tell me about yourself. Okay. Hello, my name is Asmita. I'm from Isaac. I completed my graduation from which college? From Vignan Institute, Vignan Women's College in CSC department, and you're 2025 passed out, right? 2025 passed out. During my studies, see, whenever you're telling about yourself, right? This should be the brief description about yourself, and anything if you want to add, like hobbies and all, you should be adding it at the last, because most of the interviewers what they feel, right, they just want to understand what kind of a person are you a serious person, what kind of a person are you, okay? But most of the interviewers what they feel, they want to know how serious are you for this particular job role. Okay, for that what we will be doing is, can you mute, there is, so whenever you want to speak, you can speak, and again you can mute that. Okay, most of the times what they want is they want to look for a candidate who is relevant for the job role that they are offering. This should be a basic introduction about your name, where are you from, which college you studied, if in which department, and when did you pass out this. And you can add on points like if your percentage is good. I got 80% in my BTech, but from here onwards you should be telling them what you're gonna do if you give them job. The entire hook should be like towards the data analyst. Okay. During my studies, I developed an interest in data and problem solving. I like working with the data, finding patterns, and learning how data can help in making decisions. This point will say that you are interested in this particular profile. Okay, the first impression they will get is, okay, the job role is aligned to the candidate. Okay, for that, what are the things you know? You know Excel, you know SQL, you know the basic visualization tools, and you also know the basic Python. So these are the tools you know to get this job, and they need to offer the job for this person who knows these skills. In Excel, I know VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, pivot tables, data cleaning, data sorting, ETL transformations. What you need to add on those points. And I have also learned Power Query, Power Pivot, which we will be teaching you in the further sessions. But you can add on points, and you also use macros for some repeated tasks. So I'm still practicing and improving my Excel skills. What you are not saying that I am 100% good at it. I am learning this. Along with that, I'm improving my skills. Gives them an impression that you are a person who is continuously seeking new skills and also learning and updating yourself. Okay, in the similar manner, you should also be explaining about SQL, structured query language. You should be knowing how to write the basic select queries, and you know how to use filters, group by, limits, having, and you also practiced using joins like left join, right join. You also have queries, loops, nested loops, CTEs, common table expressions. You also worked on window functions, and you also know how to work on date and string function, and you know multiple ways to pull the data from different UIs. And here you can also add points like I learned in both BigQuery, and I worked on BQ and Microsoft Excel. If you want to tell them, okay, I also know BigQuery and also know Microsoft Excel. If the job opening is for the Microsoft SQL, you can write I have hands-on experience on Microsoft SQL. And if the job role is on GCP and BigQuery, you can also write it on I worked on BigQuery and Microsoft SQL. Okay, and for data visualization as a fresher, right, you do not have access to Tableau or Power BI, but you don't have that license for Tableau, right? So you can write like I worked on Google Data Studio, which is also known as Looker Studio. Okay, and where I created dashboards using the GA4 website data. GA4 is a Google's product where it is a Google Analytics. What it does, whenever you have a website, right, we used to track number of users coming onto the website, number of users clicking on particular buttons, or someone is scrolling down the page. You track everything by using GA4 because it is a publicly available platform. You can do this data collection for any website that you're working for. So that they know that you have worked on GA4, which is very important for any of the data analyst. Okay, and to show performance in a simple and clear way, which we will be doing it in a practical way, so that you can tell more about it. And also you can write like I worked on Tableau server, and also have a bit of in Power BI as well. Power BI mostly worked on DAX and Power Queries. You can add on points however you want. Okay, and you can also tell them I also know basic Python for scripting, mainly for simple data tasks. I'm still learning. You can say like whenever you're not good at something, right, I know the basic things. Whenever you say something like I know basic Python, you should be able to tell them basic Python which is required for the organizational task. So you will say that, and you can add on pointers like what you know. Okay, so what happens when you are giving them when you're telling them like I know Excel these things, in SQL these things, so the interview the questions will come from these points whatever you're saying. Okay, so that is about it. And apart from technical skills, I focus on good communication. I have learned the email etiquette which is required for the organizations, and also I learned about call etiquette. I watched some videos of how I should be drafting my emails by using AIs. You can add on those points because email communication and call communication are one of the most important communication when you get into the job role. So you should be telling them I know these. These are the points which the interviewer is looking for. When you yourself go and take the opportunity to tell about yourself in this way, right, it will be easy for the interviewer, and they'll get a very good impression, so that the interview will follow in the way that you have intended for. Okay, and you have a good problem solving skills, and I also worked on mental math and logical thinking, which is required for to become a proper data analyst. Okay, and coming here, these are the hobbies that you can say. Mostly you can say whichever hobbies you want. I just wrote here reading books. You can write like watching videos or learning new skills. I also started doing video editing, something where there is a skill involved, where you trying to learn something. Try your hobbies in that way. And you can also say that I recently started the habit of reading books. If you say about reading books, right, they might ask you 2 or 3 book names. So at that time you should not be confused. At that time you should be write down your book names, so that it will give whenever they ask you a question, and if you're not saying that, they'll get an impression that you're cheating. That should not be the focus. So you can take 2 book names and you just remember them, and when they ask you, you can just tell those book names as well. Okay, and I also like watching movies. One, you can tell about the skill, and second thing, you can tell about your fun thing like traveling. I like traveling, and if they ask you about traveling, right, which is the place that you went last, right, you should have a story about that as well. Okay, I went to Tirupati with my family 2 weeks back. It was a memorable experience. We went to Tirupati and we stayed for 2 days. So you, whatever you say in your tell me about yourself, you should have a backstory for that. That is how you need to narrate your tell me about yourself. And in the last point, I'm looking for the opportunity where I can learn, improve my skills, and grow. These are the points where a serious candidate will use: learning, improving my skills, and grow while contributing to the team is working for them. So this, I'm not saying this is the only tell me about yourself that you can draft for. As an experience that I have, checking for more than 1,000 candidates, right? This is how we as interviewers are looking for. Any doubts so far, Asmita? I'll just pause this here. I have shared you the course details, right? Have you seen this one by any chance? What is the test about? So you're working on Python right now. Not an issue. Do you have time for the session, or do you want to? So just I'll walk you through data analyst course detail, what we will be doing. And then what we will do is we'll start with basic mental math, and because the next 6 sessions which I scheduled is for mental math, because if you are very good at it, it'll be easy for you to do the remaining things like Excel and SQL. So are you able to see my screen? So the introduction would be, as I told you about jobs and onboarding, we have onboarded you. Okay, and here is the number of session and what is the estimated time. And for that, what you will be getting is a PPT exercise, video recording, any docs, link for self-learning, and objective of the session. And the start date would be yesterday, and your end date, and the honor, and what is the note. If any information is there, that I would be adding there. Okay. Similarly, you will be having the topic, you will be having the subtopic, so and so forth. Okay. First, we'll start with introduction. Next, we will be doing the mental math, aptitude, critical thinking, and problem solving, which are very important for data analyst, because before even going for the interview, right, most of the interviewers will be asking about these things, whether you are fit for this job. Okay. So they might ask you a basic number question. They might ask you some problem statement and how you're approaching that particular problem statement. Okay. How are you thinking? So they just want to test you before even going and testing your SQL, Excel, Python, or visualization skills. Okay, that is the reason what I did was I just added these in the front, so that it will be easy for you to learn them again and again. Okay, and then we have Excel. Excel will be 10 sessions. If you see, you will start with Excel basics. As you told me, you are at a basic level Excel. So we'll go one by one. Okay, and I'll be explaining each and everything. Right from basics to data cleaning, to formulas, to logical functions, text functions, date and time functions, pivot tables, power pivot, data visualization. And after that Excel training, right, you will be having a test on both Excel and aptitude and mental math. Okay, so we'll be having a test where, we'll be having a test on both mental math as well as Excel, so that you will know where you're lacking. And in the middle, we will have some QA session as well. Like if you see here, after mental math, right, you have 2 QA sessions where you can ask all your doubts. You can, as we have a doc form right here, you can add on all your doubts here, so that I will try and take a session depending upon the number of questions that you have, so that I'll be answering you in a live session, so that you will be aware of everything. So that is how it follows. And in Excel also we'll have some 2 or 3 live sessions, QA sessions, where you have to understand each and everything. So in the last we'll have 2 sessions. After completing everything in Excel, I'll be asking you some questions. You can ask me, and it will be mostly interactive. Okay, and that should be in a quiet mode. Your background should be in a quiet mode. Okay, because I have to record every session and I have to share it with you. Okay, then you'll be having the test here. We'll be having it on 14th, and next we'll be having the SQL. SQL you will be having the basics. You will be learning the W3 schools as you are already training on SQL, and here we will be having almost 10 sessions to 11 sessions on SQL. And from that, what we will do, we will also try to do everything practically with the live database, everything, so that you can also ask more questions, and it will be more interactive. We both should be working together, where you will be doing all the ETL operations, data analysis, profiling, data dictionaries, data ingestion, and you will work on CTAs, Windows functions, query optimizations, and running the queries, optimizing the queries, cost, everything. We'll be going one by one, and in these 11 sessions, 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, in the 11 sessions, you will be able to learn SQL from basic to intermediate. Okay, we will not go into advanced SQL, because you're not applying for a SQL developer, you're applying for a data analyst. For the data analyst, most of the roles would be pulling the data, sorting the data, and visualizing the data, and read the data. Okay, what SQL developers will do, create the tables and write the code. Okay, and they join multiple APIs, and they work as a data engineer. So their people will be writing code and all. Here most of the codes would be simple, and you should be able to know what are the important things that are needed for the data analysts. Okay, so you don't need to learn everything. You should learn what is needed for that particular job role. Okay, so these 11 sessions, after that you'll be having test on SQL, Excel, as well as aptitude all together. So this is about the core. Next we'll be coming to visualization. Visualization is the last part of the data analyst. Okay, so first you will find the anomalies, sort the data, make the data into more readable format, and then push the data to visualization. So that is how the data analyst work. Visualization is the last part. Whatever changes you want to change in the data, everything will be done, and then move to visualization. Okay, in the visualization you are only just putting the widgets and putting the fields, whichever fields are important. Okay, so visualization would be last, and we'll use Google Data Studio and Tableau as visualization. And as you know, you have a little bit of experience on Power BI, we will go and create 1 or 2 dashboards from BI as well. See, whatever data we use, right, we'll use only one data, but we visualize in Google Data Studio, Tableau, and Power BI, so that you will know how to use which platform. Okay, and don't get so much tense about using multiple platforms. As a visualization platform, every platform works in a similar way. Okay, you do not need to worry about anything. Maybe the nomenclature changes, but everything will be the same. Okay, and then last we'll be having the email etiquette and the call etiquette. So we'll be discussing about how to sort your emails, how to draft an email, and for different hierarchies, how should we draft an email, and call etiquette, what are the things that we need to follow in call etiquette, and what are the communication channels that we will have as a data analyst, and who will be our stakeholders that we need to interact on a day-to-day basis. All these things will be discussed in this particular session. And for Python, as you know, right, so we'll be doing the basic Pythons, and Python for data analysis, exploratory data analysis, we'll do EDA. And normally what happens, right, most of the things for data analyst will be done in SQL or Excel. For Python, if you do EDA and all, right, this is mostly towards data scientist or data engineer. Okay, for Python mostly we use for scripting, and you should be aware of all these functions like NumPy and Matplotlib. Okay, but what we do visualization. Matplotlib is something which you do in Python for the visualization, but normally we use Excel or Tableau for visualization. If you want to, and if you're sorting any data in Python, Matplotlib is used for the visualization. But most of the things we do in Excel and SQL, so that we don't use it live. Okay, but you should be knowing what are these. For that we can go and have a different session. Okay, and Python is something which is not necessary for a data analyst. If you know Python or R, well and good, but if you don't know also, still you can become a data analyst. You should be knowing the basic functions like append, merge, all these things. But anyway, we'll discuss detail with 3 sessions and 6 hours, so that you will be knowing Python also, and what you can speak. If someone asks about what you know in Python, then you should be able to answer, right? For that we need to prepare for that. Okay, and you'll be having 2 mock interviews with 2 different HRs and senior managers after you having this session, so that they will analyze and assess your performance, and they'll give you a scoring. Okay, once they give you the scoring, right, you will understand where are the points where you have to learn or where you need to improve. They'll give you an assessment score out of 100, okay, from all these things. And then till here we have 38 sessions and 73 hours, okay, and we will complete our course by March 7th. This is the time zone, okay, but still we will have, like, this is 38 sessions you have for normal sessions, and these are QA sessions, which together is 47. You have 89 hours of total session time, and miscellaneous you will be having 6 miscellaneous, because we don't know what kind of project we might do and what time it might extend, right? We are adding some 6 miscellaneous sessions, and we'll use 21 hours for that. We can use any of the weekend for any of the miscellaneous sessions. Knowing it, you have so many doubts in it, we can go into that. So mostly your total sessions would be 50, and this is what I'm expecting. And total hours would be 803, 50 to 53 sessions, and 100 to 110 hours would be your program, that mostly planned by March 15th. And we will give you 3 days or 4 days time for you to revise everything, and then we will be taking one more mock interview, and then if you are ready, we will set up an interview for you. Hope you are clear with the data analyst course. Doubts so far? Anything that you wanted to ask me? It depends upon you. After the mock interviews will assess you and give you a score. If you feel you're confident, we will schedule your interview, okay, because we'll give you some pointers like where you need to improve. If you can work on it for a couple of days and say that Srinivas says I am ready, I can give an interview, okay, then I'll schedule an interview in one day. Interview will not take time. It is up to you. Becoming ready is something, because see what happens, right? When you joined the job, you will not have time to learn. At that time, everybody will be busy in their own work, and nobody would be able to help you at that time. For even for 1 hour task, you might end up doing it for 10 hours. So at that time, you should not struggle to do basic tasks. So that is why we have designed this course before even going to. You would get an experience like a 2 years experienced person, right? Who is someone who is starting fresh. He doesn't know anything about data analyst. Just cracked the interview and went into the job. He has to struggle for 2 years to know all these things, which you will be knowing in like 1.5 months. Because this is something which is important for anyone who is joining as a data analyst. If you know everything before, it will be easy for you to do things.